crowning jewel to any high school football player's career. All 10 teams in 5 classifications got together today for a little media time. In 5A, a return to the Clinic Bowl for unbeaten and top-ranked Murfreesboro Riverdale, which lost to Lincoln County in last year's Clinic Bowl. The Warriors will face unbeaten Germantown.
It's been a little hard. I think it put some pressure on our kids and our coaches because they were talking about getting back before we left the field last year. And it's been a little pressure on me, too. And, we're happy that we're back and we're playing a good football team.
Well, we got a feel of how, it feels like to get to the Clinic Bowl. And they gave us a heavy loss last year. It made us want to get back. Everybody depending on us to get back this year.
Of course, the Warriors will feature Alvin Duke, today's Mr. Football Award winner in Class 5A, a tailback, so they've got the speed. Now in Class 3A, Portland...
TSSAA's top 10 honored at the Clinic Bowl luncheon. That's the 10 Mr. Football winners, and the Mid-State well represented. James Cook of East Robertson takes home the Class 1A award. In 2A, Clint Brown of Westmoreland, the Mr. Football for backs, and Chad Clifton of Martin Westview, the winner for linemen. Cited in 3A, Greenbrier's Derek Lucas, an outstanding student athlete. In 5A, Lincoln County's ace defender Chad Henderson, the recipient for linemen. The Mr. Football for backs goes to Murfreesboro Riverdale's Alvin Duke.
As a senior this year, I needed to step up. That was my role. Coaches told us we needed some leaders. I think I did a good job of that this year.
Duke and the Warriors make it to the 5A championship game for the second year in a row. After losing to Lincoln County in '93, Riverdale, ranked first in the state and 12th in the country, returns a year older and wiser for Germantown.
I think there's a big difference. We're a lot more mature. We're a lot more focused than last year, and I think we're just on a mission.
In the 2A title...
This Friday and Saturday at Vanderbilt Stadium, all 5 classifications, and the best lessons are the tough ones.
Murfreesboro Riverdale is one victory away from the cherished 5A Tennessee title, thanks in part to a bruising ground game led by fullback Marcus Smith and tailback Alvin Duke. Standing in the way of a Warriors state title is a West Tennessee powerhouse, a Germantown team that has marched through 14 straight games without a defeat. Arguably, these are the 2 best teams in the state of Tennessee. Tonight, it's a battle of unbeatens. Murfreesboro Riverdale against Germantown. On what has turned into a brutally cold night for football, we welcome you to Vanderbilt Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee. The finals in Class 5A in the state of Tennessee between Murfreesboro Riverdale and Germantown. Hi again, everybody. George Plaster along with Ron Bargatze set to bring you the action. It's one of the most anticipated games in recent memory in Tennessee high school football. And Ron, I think it should be that way. These are the 2 best teams in the state.
Starting about week 7, everyone started pointing to these 2 teams. It looked like Riverdale on one side of the state, Germantown on the other. They looked for a Clinic Bowl matchup in December, and here we are tonight to see who's number 1.
Both teams are 14-0 on the season. You ask, how did they get here? Coach B has the answers.
Well, Riverdale was really tough defensively. They only gave up 7 points as they rolled over Baylor, Dobbins-Bennett, Science Hill, and Oak Ridge. On the other side of the state, Germantown did about the same thing, averaging 39 points on the offensive end of the football, as Milrose, Lincoln County, Christian Brothers, and Jackson Central Mary fell by the wayside.
Let's begin with Riverdale, a very good ground game, and when you talk about rushing the football, you've got to start with Alvin Duke.
Well, when Alvin Duke gets the ball offensively from the tailback slot, he likes to get outside. If he can turn the corner, he's tough. He can go all the way from anywhere.
And a great compliment for him at Riverdale is Antron Peebles. He's flat out a good football player.
The dictionary puts Antron Peebles out there as the definition of a player. 6'3", 225. He runs good. Middle linebacker on defense. Great tight end. He can do it all.
Now, as for Germantown, this is flat out a huge football team. and in Mitch Baker, one of those big specimens.
Oh, he's a strong left tackle on the defensive end of the football. He's really tough. He's big and strong and fast. He's everywhere, and you have to think about him in the line, but when you see Mark Gray on the offensive side, out of the wishbone, Mark Gray can get it, turn it upfield. He's a threat to go all the way.
Both teams obviously can run the football. We're excited about this one. Stay tuned. We'll have more from Vanderbilt Stadium in the 1994 Clinic Bowl. Welcome back to Vanderbilt Stadium as we get ready for what should be a super football game between Riverdale and Germantown. The third member of our broadcast crew is down on the field. We welcome Joe Fisher.
George, one of the keys to this game is going to be how the teams handle the weather. As you can tell, it's pretty cold tonight, but each team does have some specific keys. For Riverdale, the first is to get Alvin Duke to the outside. Mr. Football practically beat Oak Ridge on his own with 2 sprints for touchdowns, both from the outside. They must have some passing success, namely the Antron Peebles. Also, Gerald Griffin will get into the mix. And defensively, the defense that has only given up 7 points in the playoffs, they must find a way to contain Mark Gray, Germantown's runner, averaging 128 points a game. For Germantown, obviously they need to keep Riverdale's offense off the field, control the ball themselves on the ground. For Riverdale, keep that speed and Alvin Duke from getting to the outside. And one of Germantown's big advantages is win the kicking game. There's been a lot of build-up. This should be a good one. Back up to you guys.
Joe, thank you very much. I don't envy you, but I know you'll do a great job down there. Stay tuned. We'll have the opening kickoff from the 1994 Clinic Bowl.
American.
Well, as you can see, captains for both teams meeting at midfield. Let's go down now for the toss of the coin.
Captain Peebles, Bryant, gentlemen, shake hands if you would, please. Gentlemen, I ask during the game tonight you make your English teachers proud. If you've got a penalty discussion, I want to know if you want the play or the penalty, not just it. I don't always know what it is, okay? From the TWSAA captains, these are minnows for you. The chairman of the Clinic Bowl will be tossing a coin. You are the visiting captain. If you will, call it for me in the air if we have anything go wrong with picking him. Ready? Question. Head. On the head? Head and the tail. You're going to toss, Captain. Would you like to defer? Offense or defense? Captain, this choice is yours.
Germantown wins the toss. Elects to defer to the second half.
Tonight's Tennessee 5A championship game is brought to you by the Middle Tennessee Toyota Dealers Association.
The 5A championship game with Riverdale receiving and Germantown defending the home goal.
Welcome back to Vanderbilt Stadium. George Plaster, Ron Bargatze, Joe Fisher with you. Glad to have you watching the game all across the Southeast and the state of Tennessee. And Ron, this is a game that people have been anticipating now really for 6-7 weeks.
George, the way these two teams took their opponents to task during the playoffs would prove to most people around the state these are the two best teams. Interestingly enough, Louis Thompson, the coach of Lincoln County, who was the coach of the team that both these teams lost to last and played both teams this year, had some great comparisons. He said this is going to be David and Goliath. David having the speed, Goliath in Germantown, one of the biggest teams he's seen in Tennessee high school football.
As you can see, Germantown, which is officially the home team in this game with the red uniforms, will kick off. Courtney Levitt will do the honors for the Red Devils, and deep to receive for Riverdale will be number 24, Alvin Duke, and he'll stand at the 5-yard line. You can see by those weather conditions what we told you in the open. It is a tough night for football. If you're playing, probably not so bad. If you're a spectator, hey, I feel sorry for him.
George, and no question that Levitt this year has done such a nice job for Germantown in putting their opponent in trouble to begin with. He averages kicking the ball to the 2-yard line, kicks a lot of kickoffs into the end zone. He has the wind behind him.
Glad to have you with us tonight, and we are underway. This is Duke from the 2. Duke is game tackled at the 18-yard line. So Riverdale will go to work offensively with their senior quarterback, Carney, a very good option runner. Alvin Duke, the 5A back of the year, scored 37 touchdowns this season. There are people that don't do that in a career. David Coppeans on right tackle, already committed to Vanderbilt. Those are kind of the strengths of Riverdale's offense.
Coppeans has got to be big at the tackle spot tonight as a blocker.
Marcus Smith, Alvin Duke are the two running backs. Carney keeps it himself, gets about 8. Let's see if they ruled it down. The official took quite a spill. They're going to say the ball was down at the 26 and give the quarterback a gain of 6 on, make it 8 on first down.
Carney this time, he cuts it back upfield on the option. Nice job there, but the ball pops out from the ground. Should not have been a good call by the official.
For the season, Riverdale has run about 80% of the time. They expect tonight to make it more of a 60-40 mix. They don't think they'll have any choice. That's the fullback, and getting the first down is Marcus Smith to the 29-yard line.
George, Riverdale wants to spread the field out a little bit. Maybe a little bit wider split most of the time, but they offset the great defensive size and skill of the Germantown front.
As you look at that front 5 for the Red Devils, remember that weight is obviously to Germantown's advantage. They are a much bigger football team than Riverdale, but as Ronnie mentioned a moment ago, the Warriors an edge in quickness. First down for Riverdale from its 29. This is Alvin Duke. Good yardage. About 8 on first down. So twice on first down, they've been able to get themselves into 2nd and 2s, 2nd and 3s. If they do that all night, Ronnie, they're going to win this football game.
Right, as we saw Riverdale send a man in motion, Zimmerman went with him. Riverdale still got the numbers and got the good 7.5 yards on first down, something they feel is very, very important to keeping that offense rolling tonight. Good job. Watch Duke there. He really does a nice job of running under control, finding the seams.
There is Alvin Duke. He is the tailback in their I formation. On 2nd and 3, Carney got his own first down to the 40-yard line. They're keeping it very simple early.
No question, and as Carney comes out on the option, he freezes with his fake to the fullback Smith in there. He freezes those big defensive front guys and does a nice job getting it to the outside.
Sophomore Philip Bennett made the tackle for Germantown, but Riverdale has marched 22 yards so far on this drive. This, we think, is going to be kind of a field position kind of game. Both teams like to run the ball a lot. Both of them normally pretty conservative. First down, Riverdale from the 40. This is Alvin Duke. Got to the corner, broke a tackle, got 7 more. Out to the 47. That was a case where Germantown didn't tackle very well.
Well, a nice kick-out block there by Smith as Duke turned the corner, and good job of Germantown forcing the quick pitch. The support wasn't there when they wanted it.
The missed tackle by McIntyre, and then Trey Belcher came up from his free safety position to make the tackle.
Keep your eye on Belcher tonight. He can really, he can do everything, an overused cliche, but this guy is really a football player.
By the way, the guy in the shorts is freezing. Fullback, gaping hole. Into Germantown territory goes Marcus Smith. Belcher again had to make the tackle, and if the corners and the safeties have to make all the tackles for Germantown, they're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Big Smith right up the middle there. Good job blocking by the Riverdale front there. That's really a key for them. If they can establish some running attack up the middle there between the tackles, it's really going to give Duke a chance to see the outside.
3.5 minutes into this drive, a first down for Riverdale from Germantown's 44. Carney kept it himself, got a first down, got down to the 28.
Watch Coppeans here on the block down against the All-State Eric Baker. Great job of sealing off right there and keeping Baker to the inside.
You mentioned Coppeans a moment ago. He is committed to play football at Vanderbilt, and it's our understanding that despite the coaching change yesterday with Jerry DiNardo resigning, that Coppeans has made it clear he'll keep that commitment.
Greg Smith doing a nice job kicking up the defensive end there to open the hole up.
First down. This is Duke. Better defense that time. Hit at the line of scrimmage. May have gotten a couple.
Number 4, Alvin Duke carries. 74, Jason Reeves, the tackler.
Reeves making the stop for Germantown. It'll be 2nd and 8, and this is the first time really on this drive that Riverdale has had to think maybe pass or run. They've gotten great yardage on first down until now.
Riverdale starting on their own 18-yard line. Hasn't even thought pass yet, and they've been able to keep it on the ground. Gary Rankin would like to do that, but fears that he may have to go to the air before long.
Fernando Bryant is their one receiver, and in motion to the near side comes Griffin. This is Duke. Can he turn the corner? No. Excellent defense that time by Germantown. They were able to get some penetration, and because of it, they'll set up 3rd and 9.
Look at the lateral movement by Mitch Baker there, coming from his left tackle position. He comes all the way across the field, does a nice job of turning the play before he can get to the corner.
That won't be the last time we call Baker's name tonight. He has been a pain in the you-know-what for everybody that's had to play him. Now you've got 2 wide receivers for Riverdale, and you figure they've got to throw. It's 3rd and 9. Carney with a good play fake. And has a first down. And may have more inside the 10. Antron Peebles, 1st and goal at the 6.
Peebles running about a 15-yard hook there. Carney, nice job setting up in the pocket, no pressure, good job blocking by the front 4 for Riverdale there, and great job there as Peebles gets it and takes it down, and he's looking at goal line.
And good protection right there as well as Peebles makes the catch. This is a 76-yard drive that Riverdale is in the middle of. 1st and goal, and they have taken right at 6 minutes off the clock already. The option, Carney keeps and got blasted at the 3.
Good job stringing it out by the Germantown defense there, George.
Trey Belcher, who is perhaps as good an athlete as Germantown has got, came up from his free safety position. There's a young man, if you're just looking for a good athlete, look at number 33 in red.
Right, on defense, he makes a lot of tackles from his defensive back position. On offense, you'll see him when Germantown gets into the wishbone, how he does a nice job carrying the ball, leading as a lead blocker, and we'll talk more about him as the night goes on.
This is Alvin Duke territory. He's already scored 37 touchdowns, but Carney keeps it himself and gets to the 2. So now it will be 3rd and goal from the 2. Again, Mitch Baker was in on the stop for Germantown. I've got to figure on 3rd and goal, you go with Duke and let him try and get it for you.
I think probably you may see option again. Looked like that time maybe had Germantown not forced the quarterback Carney to cut it back inside, that Duke, if he could have gotten his hands on the ball, he may have had some room around the left side.
A shot from the goal line camera now up above here at Vanderbilt Stadium. Fullback, make it Carney, didn't get in. Germantown is in the middle of a very good goal line stand. Their linebackers, Smith and Pedroli, were the 2 that stopped it. Ronnie, now it comes down to 1 play.
Gary Rankin, this is really a teaser here in the early going because he's awful close right there. He knows that if he doesn't go for the field goal and he does get stopped here, he's got great field position. First big decision of the game.
I'll give you a play here. We'll take a break first. Big play coming up. It is 4th and 1 for Riverdale. We'll see how it turns out right after this. Riverdale has had the ball for the first 7.5 minutes of the game. They are now at 4th and goal at the 1. Ronnie, I like the decision. My guess is it's Alvin Duke over Coppeans.
Could be. It'd be a great matchup there, Coppeans against Mitch Baker.
Quarterback sneak, no signal as of yet. Still no signal. Germantown says they have held.
Ball's on about the 2-inch line there as we see the headlinesman come in, put the foot down, and field position is great. Results, particularly for Riverdale, not what they wanted it for.
Now here's a great early second guess if you like to be an armchair quarterback. I like the decision to go for it early. You've had it 7.5 minutes. What the heck? Roll the dice.
Well, no question, and only about a half yard to go there. Riverdale going hard with Corey Carney tonight on the option and then on the sneak.
Germantown out of what looks like their wishbone setup. That's Mark Gray, the 5'11" senior, and he gets a couple of yards. One thing about Riverdale not making the touchdown, even though they weren't able to, as you look at Germantown's starting lineup, even though they're not able to make the touchdown, Germantown's backed up in the shadow of their end zone.
No question. Ken Netherland likes to play it pretty close to the vest anyway. Doesn't do a lot of fancy, wild things. He's very comfortable here with his offense, trying to get in good field position. He's got the wind behind him if he has to punt.
There's a loose football, and let's see who's got it. It is Germantown's football. They retain it at the 3-yard line. Boy, that's a little shaky early.
Looks like it was just a bad exchange there with the quarterback. Is
Gray just never got it into the breadbasket.
Looking for a hold maybe a little too quickly there before the handoff was consummated.
Kevin Smith came up with the football for Germantown. They look at 3rd and about 8 from their 3. Quarterback Terrence Patterson is a junior. Let's see if he'll throw. The answer is no. They get to the corner, but do not get the first down. Gray is tackled at about the 7 by Fernando Bryant, who came up from his left corner. So even though Riverdale didn't get the points, they've got a chance now to get good field position again.
No question, and Gray that time made a nice move to the outside, got his feet tangled a bit and had to stumble, or he could have had the first down and really given the Germantown offense a big, big lift.
They send Courtney Levitt into the game to kick to Alvin Duke, who stands just inside the midfield stripe for Riverdale.
Levitt averages 42 yards on all of his kicks this year.
Boy, that is some kick.
Oh.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is perhaps one of the longest kicks you'll ever see. 76 yards on the punt. We'll take a break. 1:50 to play first quarter. Riverdale and Germantown are scoreless.
And Alex,
for the idea of good field position for Riverdale as they take over. Courtney Levitt just uncorked an 80-yarder with the wind, and boy, is that a momentum builder for Germantown.
Well, Duke back to receive that time was on his own 45-yard line. As Levitt was standing about 8 yards deep in his end zone, he felt like he was in great shape. But the ball, he got the spiral up into the wind, and about a 20-mile-an-hour tailwind there took the ball over Duke's head and gave them what I consider one of the big, big lifts you could have in the early going.
Riverdale drove 81 yards on their first possession and came up with nothing. That's the big fullback, and the fumble is apparently recovered by Riverdale at the 18. Smith gets about 5 on first down and almost gave Gary Rankin a heart attack.
By number 38, Brian Moore.
Looked like there may have been a little bobble on the exchange between the center and the quarterback that time, as Carney came out of there and did get the ball in the hands of the running back, but never was clean from the get-go.
There is Gary Rankin, who has done a tremendous job at Riverdale. Has taken what was not that strong a program and turned it into a big-time powerhouse. That's Duke for what appears to be about a half-yard short of a first down. They get him to the 22 before Brian Moore comes up and makes the stop.
George, Lincoln County, who gave Germantown their toughest test through the playoff trail that this year earlier, had a little success running the ball off tackle. That time, Duke found some running room there, and that's the one thing you feel like the big front from Germantown would have you'd have a hard time running against them because of their size there.
Let me ask you about the 4th and goal play from the 1. Duke has scored 37 touchdowns. You're surprised they didn't give it to him?
Well, you felt like maybe Duke over Coppeans was the logical thing, but, you know, maybe Germantown was thinking the same way. Nice job defensively down in the trenches by the Germantown defense to really make things happen for them here.
3rd and a yard. Smith on second effort got the first down and plenty more after the 30-yard line. That young man weighs about 240, and you saw the tank in him right there.
Well, he likes to take on people. As the Riverdale fans say, when he gets in the open field, he doesn't look for the goal line. He looks for somebody to run over, and that's kind of what he's all about.
Jed Zimmerman, from his strong safety position, made the tackle. Riverdale a first down at its own 30. This may well be the final play of a rapid first quarter. Riverdale has had the football for about 90% of this quarter, but so far they have not scored. Alvin Duke to the corner. Good yardage on first down. The initial hit doesn't bring down Alvin Duke.
No, it's hard to get your hands on Duke. He's such a slippery back. Changes directions at the drop of a hat, and he's awfully hard to get the arms wrapped around.
Duke gets 8. And it'll be 2nd and 2. 4 seconds remaining in a scoreless first quarter.
We just got a quick look at the Germantown cheerleaders. Principal Ernest Chisholm says that this is a fantastic group of cheerleaders. They were in competition earlier today here, and he said that we're going to come to Nashville to win 2 titles, the Clinic Bowl 5A championship and the cheerleading competition.
And that is the final play of the first quarter. It has been all Riverdale in the first 12 minutes, but at the moment, Germantown is hanging tough. We're scoreless. We'll return to Vanderbilt right after this. Sideline has to feel pretty good. They've dodged a bullet so far. It is 2nd and 2 for Riverdale from its 38. That's the big fullback in Smith. Cranks out a first down to the 45. You say, has Riverdale had the football most of the game? The answer is absolutely so. Of the first 12 minutes of this game, Ronnie, they had the ball 9:36 in the first quarter.
That's unbelievable, and getting 6.5 yards per carry on first down has really set up the offense. On the last play there, Smith went for the first down. We saw Duke going into motion from the tailback slot there, stretched out the Germantown defense, and he picked up a nice gain.
That's Duke in motion. Carney on the reverse, and they give it to Griffin, and Griffin may have nowhere to go. Excellent read by Germantown. They stayed home, and they got the good results.
Great job there, and we'll have to see who came up and turned that play back inside. Kind of a surprise play on first down that time. McIntyre, I think, came up. Good job there defensively. Grabbed the back of the jersey there, held on for dear life, and had plenty of support to come up as Germantown has their first big defensive play of the game.
Trace McIntyre turned what could have been a huge play for Riverdale into about an 8-yard loss.
Excuse me, George. Second big defensive play of the game as the goal line stand thwarted the last Riverdale try for the touchdown.
Draw play. Duke hit at the line of scrimmage. He'll lose a couple. It was Reeves, number 74, who stepped in for Germantown. Jason Reeves is a 295-pound senior. We mentioned it before the game started. Germantown, as far as pounds are concerned, they far outweigh Riverdale.
Right. George, as we look here at a real tough 3rd and 17, 18 yard, maybe 19, you might look for Fernando Bryant this time. He's their deep threat, and they like to try to find him in this situation.
Carney does throw, and there was Bryant. Make it Griffin, not Bryant. It is close to a first down, but short by about a yard. Belcher came up and made the hit that stopped a potential first down, and now Gary Rankin's got another decision.
Well, Gary wasn't counting on having to make these kind of decisions this early. See a nice job there. Carney really on the money, slightly behind him. Nice job watching the ball in that time. Belcher's everywhere, and he's a nice player. We'll see him all night long and have a lot to say about him. He can get it done on both sides of the football.
4th and less than a yard, and Riverdale is going for it.
Got to feel like Smith may be the man here.
They were just trying to draw Germantown off the ball. Give Germantown a lot of credit for some poise, and because of it, they're going to get the football.
Riverdale had the wind behind them. You thought maybe that was certainly a borderline right there. Gary says, I got a little burned on the last 4th and 1. I think I'm going to be a little more conservative this time.
And now Riverdale will kick the football, and Griffin will go back to his 35 to do that. And deep to receive for Germantown is 89 Corey Peterson, who's been very dangerous this year. He has returned 4 different kicks for touchdowns this season. This is a guy you might think about kicking it out of bounds to. Peterson lets it drop, and it'll roll dead at about the 10-yard line. So Germantown pinned back deep in their own territory with 9:03 to play first half, and we remain scoreless from Vanderbilt Stadium.
When Sonic serves up their triple feature, the people of Manhattan will drive all the way from the Upper West Side to the Lower East Side just to get it. After all, it's a big double meat, double cheeseburger made to order, fries, and a medium Dr. Pepper, right now just $3.59 at Sonic's everywhere. For dinner in Manhattan, that's a great price. The triple feature at Sonic. Heck, at just $3.59, you could even afford to take in a show. Sonic, America's drive-in.
Camry was a success story from the start. Acclaimed best car.
Riverdale comes up empty on its second possession. We remain scoreless. And Ron, I've got to think that on that Germantown sideline, as they've played their Houdini act, that they're gaining some confidence.
George, Ken Netherland has been around the block a few times. He's a crafty, wise guy who does such a tremendous job preparing his team, and they've really been ready tonight.
First down for the Red Devils. This is Gray. Absolutely nothing. Swarming defense for Riverdale, led by middle linebacker Antron Peebles. There are a lot of folks that want that young man.
Well, I tell you something. On the corners for the Riverdale defense, you can see guys like Floyd and Maloney who you just can't get outside them. And they turn everything in, and Peebles seems to be there to take whatever's left, and he's the man to do it.
We hear in Peebles' case it may be down to a Tennessee, an Alabama, a Colorado. 3 pretty good choices. This is Gray, and again, he can't turn the corner. Gray gets only to the 11. There were 3 of those white shirts there, and Gary Rankin has to like his defense so far.
Well, he's liked it all year, and in the playoffs, they have been just unbelievable, only giving up 7 points in the 4 playoff games against what you have to say is the top, all top 10 teams in the state.
Bad field position, 3rd and 9. Do you throw?
Well, Terrence Patterson hits 2 of every 3 passes he completes, and he's a smart young man, a guy who's really been the difference in Germantown making their thrust this year. Let's see if he's going to throw in this situation.
They shift out of the wishbone, and Patterson will throw. Now he'll run. Did not get the first down. They mark him out at the 18-yard line, and it was Larry Floyd who ran him out of bounds, a linebacker for Riverdale, and so it looks like Germantown is 3 and out, and that's not what their defense needed. They've been on the field a lot.
Well, when Patterson got to the outside, things looked like they were pretty open then. As he turned up the field, that great quickness by Floyd came up and stopped him about 1.5 yards short of the first.
Corey Levitt's first kick was an 80-yarder. He'll be hard-pressed to duplicate that here. Look at that statistic. That one hits at midfield and will roll dead at about the 40. It's a 42-yard kick. 7:19 to play in the first half. Riverdale and Germantown are in one of those defensive shootouts. We're scoreless. Riverdale's 3rd possession of the game. They have gotten a lot of yards. They've gotten no points. And because of that, Ron, I think this is kind of a pressure drive here where they've got to get something to show for it.
their offense needs a little not that they haven't been able to put yards on the board, but they haven't been able to get in the end zone. And as you said, George, each possession, the pressure mounts for them.
A first down for Riverdale from its own 40. Smith and Duke are the running backs. This is Smith, and he exploded like a cannon to the 45. Let's go down to the field. Joe, what do you see down there?
George, this game has started just the same way as last week's Riverdale Oak Ridge game. Warriors drove down on the opening drive last week, got to the 1, fumbled the ball away on an option pitch. The only difference was Oak Ridge gave up 2 big plays to Alvin Duke. Germantown faces the same challenge this week. Back up to you.
Joe, I'm coming back down to you after this play, and I want an honest answer. It's 2nd and 5 for Riverdale, and after a problem on the snap, Carney gets within about a half yard of the first down. Joe, if you're there, how difficult are the conditions as far as the cold and that kind of thing?
Well, since it's not raining, it's not that bad, and there has been a lot of wind that's actually kind of dried out the field, so it's not very slick, not a lot of footing problems. Advantage still should be Riverdale. They play all their home games and played all their playoff games on artificial turf at MTSU's Horace Jones Field. Germantown hasn't played on turf at all this year. In fact, they went to practices at the University of Memphis at an indoor practice facility this week to try to get a little work on the turf, but you'd have to think that Riverdale would have a little bit of an advantage on this turf.
Joe, you've never played golf in this, though, have you?
No, and it would probably help a lot because the divots wouldn't be, well, they'd be rather awful on turf, wouldn't they?
You saw the measurement a moment ago. It's about 3rd and a couple of inches. 6:25 to play in the first half, and we are scoreless in this 5A title game. Quarterback keeper, and Carney may or may not have gotten the first down. He didn't get a whole lot.
As we watch the mark here, George, it looks like it's going to be right on the money there. Probably will have another measurement to determine that, and it looked like a flag came into play there. No, it's definitely short.
Wow, they did not make it. Gary Rankin can't be real pleased with that. That's twice that the quarterback sneak has not worked for him. On 4th and goal from the 1 on the first drive, they weren't able to make it, and now on 3rd and inches, they come up empty, and so Riverdale will have to kick. And again, Corey Peterson, very dangerous, stands at his 15-yard line for Germantown. Riverdale's had the ball for all but 4 minutes of the game. This one's going to come back because of a penalty. Of the first 24 minutes of this game, Riverdale has had the ball right at 20 minutes. Talk about time of possession in a stat that so far is meaningless.
Right, and George, that time, the delay of game penalty against Riverdale stopped what was going to be a pretty interesting play as Duke, who was the blocker about 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage, received the snap there, and it looked like they were going to try for it anyway.
And so now Griffin will kick from the 30, and Peterson stands at his 15. Oh, they have to fake it. Griffin gets the first down and has plenty more to the Germantown 34. And I guess my only question, did the rush make him do it, or was it a planned play?
George, I'm going to tell you right now, it was a planned play, and that shows what Gary Rankin thinks about his defense. He knows if he doesn't get it, this defense has only given up 7 points. See, he steps in for the punt, knew what he was going to do all along. Great speed to the outside by Griffin. He tight ropes the sidelines and picks up great yardage, and it looks like Riverdale's threatening again.
And Germantown's defense has been out there the entire first half. Can they hold them again? That's the question. Marcus Smith, like a battering ram, kind of a Jerome Bettis on the high school level, gets to the 33. Only a couple on first down, and I admire the way Germantown has played defensively. They have hung tough.
Dean Harris that time, 6'6", 266 defensive tackle, and just a junior, really took on the Riverdale blockers that time and stopped what has been very successful territory with Riverdale being a good first down team tonight.
Gary Rankin shows us something new here. Back split behind Carney. They run the option. Griffin got very little. Got to the 33, and Germantown played that nicely. Trey Belcher was there. So was Peter Cobb. It'll be 3rd and 8, and now a huge play with a flag down.
Would appear to be a holding or a clip against the offense there, and as we see the officials administering the penalty, they are talking. There may be face masks. They were talking to the offense.
Face mask on the defense. First down.
So it's a face mask against Germantown, and it's the big variety. It's a 15-yarder, and instead of it being 3rd and 8, it's now 1st down at the 18. Joe Fisher is down on the sidelines. Joe, you may have had a good look at that.
Yeah, it was a face mask as Gerald Griffin came back to this side. You saw him turn around quickly. Gerald Griffin has a heritage of some great players, and Don Griffin, James Griffin, and his family both played in the NFL. He's a guy that likes to step up in these situations. Back up to you.
Thank you, Joe. This is the 9th play of the drive following the punt, and Smith bulls his way inside the 15 to the 11. Smith is becoming a bigger factor as the game goes on. He looks like he's wearing out this defense.
Well, they're establishing the inside game, and they have established it as they've controlled the football throughout the evening. And Germantown, George, they're tough, but they're wearing down a little bit. As looks like Riverdale, I think you might see a little diversity maybe in their attack right here inside the 15.
Yeah, Coach Ken Netherland may have to really worry about that at halftime because his defense has been on the field the entire first half. This is 2nd and 4 from the 12-yard line. Duke to run to the left. Duke is inside the 5, and it's 1st and goal at the 3.
George, did you see Duke there when he got about the same width as the tackle? Seems like he shifted gears there and saw the end zone. That's where those 37 touchdowns came from.
I mentioned earlier he is the 5A back of the year. You run through some of these stats. 37 touchdowns scored in one season, 1,300 yards plus of rushing. Look at that statistic. That's where Riverdale has dominated so far, but they haven't dented the scoreboard yet. They're trying to. 1st and goal at the 3. Smith to about the 1.5.
Marcus Smith again.
You see the clock in the background. With less than 3 minutes to play in the first half, there is an injured Germantown player, and Riverdale takes a timeout. We'll do the same with 2:40 to play. Riverdale is knocking on the door.
What are you getting for Christmas?
Another jar of your...
Yard and a half away from getting on the scoreboard. 2nd and goal. Duke, touchdown. Alvin Duke gets number 38 and also wins the high hurdles.
George, that's what you wanted the last time they were on the goal line. And Rankin was not going to take any chances that time as Duke soared over the defensive line.
Now look at this leap over everybody.
The key is he has a chance to plant his feet there and really get a forward lunge. He could have gone about 5 yards on that one.
This is Ryan Miller. He makes it 7-0 with 2:36 to play in the first half. And Riverdale finally has the points to go with all that time of possession. The Warriors lead at 7-zip. We'll return to Vanderbilt in just a moment. Well, there's the happy Riverdale bench. They finally knock on the door and actually open it. 10 plays, 60 yards, and Alvin Duke did the honors in the high hurdles to give the Warriors the 7-0 lead. This kick comes to Gray. Boy, you see his speed as he gets out to the 41-yard line in good field position for Germantown. And now we go down to the sidelines. Again, here's Joe Fisher.
George, Gray's kickoff return may have answered the question. With 2 minutes and 29 seconds left, you had to wonder if Germantown was going to come out conservative here, run out the clock, go in down 7-0, and get the opening kickoff to start the second half. Now, with the good field position, if this flag is not against them, I would think they would try to open it up and get on the board before the half ends. We'll have to wait and see. Back up to you.
Joe, let me ask you, do you think that Germantown's coaches are concerned as far as how much time their defense has had to spend down there?
Well, that's got to be a concern because the longer they're out there, the longer they risk giving up the big play. But the plus is they haven't let one of those get away yet.
So a 15-yard penalty on a face mask by Riverdale, and Germantown has great field position at the 44 of Riverdale. They're down 7-0, and they go into kind of a 2.5-minute drill. They've had only 15 yards total offense so far compared to 173 for Riverdale, and they don't add a whole lot there, as Anthony Flynn, the big fullback, may have gotten a yard.
Germantown really spread the field at that time, George. They had guys from sideline to sideline, had a man in motion, tried to take it up the middle, but Riverdale's quickness and bulk in there took it away from them.
So now Germantown fights the clock, and they fight Riverdale as well. If they could punch one in here, they could erase what has been a pretty mediocre first half for them offensively.
Watch for the Patterson to Peterson connection here, or maybe Belcher out of the backfield. I think they'll be throwing.
They spread them out here with a lot of wide receivers. Patterson has room, has a first down to the 29 of Riverdale. Terrence Patterson showed a lot of patience there, Ronnie.
Great job as he got to the corner. He did the stutter step, slowed down. He had his pitch man in place. He read the defense, did a great job cutting it back. And this junior is going to be Mr. Everything next year, George. Really definitely a candidate for Mr. Football in the state next year.
What you're looking at is the first down of the night for Germantown. 1:25 to play, first half, 7-0 Riverdale, but Germantown trying to tie it before the intermission.
It's hard to know if the clock is going to come into play here. 1:14 to go in the first half.
Germantown does have all 3 of its timeouts remaining. They run what is the crazy option, and they get to the 25-yard line. When I say crazy option, they fake one way, then go the other, and now they use their first time out of the half.
Right, with 59 seconds to go, ball on the 25-yard line, you've got to think they've got to get to the outside, get out of bounds, or put the ball in the air.
We'll take a break. 59 seconds to play in the first half. Germantown trying to tie it before the half.
At the movies, the sound is incredible. It comes from...
Gary Rankin a little worried about his defense. Germantown down to Riverdale's 25. They've got 2nd and 6 with just under a minute to play in the half. That's Gray in motion, and they run a little wing-back reverse, which really didn't get a whole lot happening. Belcher got from the 25 to the 22. Marcus Smith, the right defensive end, made the tackle, and we have an injured player on the field for Germantown, and that'll stop the clock with 46 seconds to play.
Nice little inside reverse that time, but Smith fought off the block, really put the headgear on the ball carrier, and again, time and the clock here, George. What do you think?
I think before the half they're going to have to throw it.
No question about it. I don't think they can keep it on the ground. They do have 2 timeouts left, and we'll see if they can milk it down.
They've got 3rd and what will be a long 2 when play resumes. Hard to tell the number from there. It appears that it was Hunter Myers, number 54, who was hurt. Big 270-pound junior. I mentioned earlier Germantown's weight advantage. When they have the ball, their offensive line outweighs Riverdale's defensive line by 32 pounds per man. But so far, until now, you really haven't gotten a chance to see it. Patterson, quarterback sneak. He got a lot more than you would have thought. He's down to the 15, and the clock stops with 30 seconds to play.
Germantown calling the timeout. I thought maybe they were going to try to get into the play quickly there and not use one up.
Now that is Germantown's 2nd time out of the half. They want to save one of these if they can, if indeed they need to kick a field goal. And they've got a field goal kicker in Levitt who has got great range, 50 and in, so this should be no trouble from here.
George, 2 out of 3 this year from over 50 yards. I think 9 of 11 or 7 of 9 from 40 yards and deeper, and he's got the great range.
7-0 Riverdale is the score with 30 seconds to play in the first half. George Plaster, Ron Bargatze, Joe Fisher down on the sidelines, and he's got a lot of different interviews coming up at halftime that he'll do. And I tell you what, Joe should get a little extra combat pay tonight. You look at part of the crowd, which was obviously held down by the cold weather. They were hoping for upwards of $25,000 for this title game. Obviously, they didn't get that. Had the weather given them a little more of a break, it probably would have happened. 15-yard line, first down. Look at the 4 wide receivers that Germantown brings in. They're trying to spread out Riverdale's defense here. That's Belcher in motion. Patterson couldn't quite handle it. Corey Peterson came within an eyelash, but Fernando Bryant got a hand in for Riverdale.
Well, Fernando was right on the money. Fernando, you look marvelous, Bryant. George, that's his famous saying. All the people in Murfreesboro know him by that nickname.
And we saw Patterson, even though he couldn't connect, showing a pretty good arm.
Watch Bryant there. He's a little behind the play, but the hit is just at the right time, and he was there to break it up.
This time 2 wide receivers, Belcher to the right, Peterson to the left. Patterson escapes 1, can't escape 2. Sacked at the 18-yard line, and the clock runs with 15 seconds. You see the clock in the bottom right corner.
You also saw big Larry Floyd blitzing there and did a nice job of getting to the quarterback.
And Germantown may run out of time. Out of bounds with 1 second remaining, and I really don't understand why Germantown didn't take that final timeout, because it almost cost them this chance at a field goal.
Right, and it's a good thing he caught the ball out of bounds. Had he caught it inbounds, I think probably the clock would run out.
Bad clock management there by Germantown. They almost let a field goal attempt go by the boards. This is Levitt from 35 yards.
This has been his worst distance of the year, George, in that 30-35-yard range.
He has hit one from 51 earlier in the year. Plenty of distance. Germantown scores at the intermission. And after 24 minutes of football, it's Riverdale leading Germantown by the score of 7-3. And Ron, even though Germantown's down, they've got to feel good that they've been able to hang close enough to make the second half mean something.
George, they had three possessions that half, one from their 1-foot line, the other from their own 10. They finally got the kickoff return and the face mask to start on the Riverdale 45-yard line. They were able to convert, and they feel like they have some momentum going into halftime.
Again, 7-3 Riverdale at halftime. We go down to the field, and Joe Fisher has Warrior coach Gary Rankin.
Coach, they get a 3 on you right at the end of the half, but you've been on the field offensively practically the whole first half.
We kept the ball away from it, and that's been good for us. We should have knocked another one in down there early, but we made a mistake down in there. We got to make some adjustments on defense and go back to work.
Do you make any adjustments offensively, or just
Not
keep doing
any offensive? We're on pretty good shape offensively. We've been blocking them pretty good, and the kids are running hard.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Coach Gary Rankin, back up to you guys.
Okay, Joe, thank you. It's been a very interesting first half. 2 unbeatens going at it. And at the intermission, Riverdale leads Germantown 7-3. Okay, we welcome all of you back. Second half just about ready to get underway with Riverdale leading Germantown 7-3. And Ronnie, look at those statistics. The total yards has been total domination for the Warriors.
Well, the time of possession is just unbelievable, George. And as we said, Germantown, who didn't have any field position at all until the last possession, has to feel pretty lucky to go into halftime only 4 down. And I think probably they'll rejuvenate and really be ready to go here in the second half.
For those of you who just may be joining us, Riverdale took the opening kickoff of the game and marched 81 yards, but didn't score. Then, with 2.5 minutes left in the half, Alvin Duke hurdled over the top from 1.5 yards out. That gave Riverdale the 7-0 lead. Germantown with a 35-yard Levitt field goal at the buzzer. Glad you're with us all across the Southeast, and certainly to those of you in the state of Tennessee, we welcome you in to this 5A title game. Gray gets it on the handoff, and Gray is off to the races, and he's got a gaping hole out to the 38-yard line. Gray got the handoff from Trey Belcher,
and rambled about 31 yards before Fernando Bryant brought him down. Good field position for Germantown.
Watch Belcher there. He says, heck, you're a better runner than I am, and I'm a better blocker than you are. Let's do it this way.
And it worked beautifully. The hole opened up, and he was able to get out to the 38. Germantown had only 42 yards of total offense in the first half. They'll have to do better if they're going to win this title. Gray got only a couple to the 40. Some good gang tackling. Riverdale throughout the night has had 3 or 4 folks at the football. I see Coppeans and I see Litchford among the stoppers for the Warriors.
Well, that time, great job by Jeff Lee as he showed great speed laterally there to get an arm on the ball carrier, slow him down for the big guys to finish him off.
2nd and 8 from the 40-yard line. A 2-wide receiver set. And this is Belcher in motion nearest us. Gray, first down, a bunch more. He's on his way. Gray finally tackled at the 17. The gain is 43 yards, and there is a marker down as well.
We saw Gray break it to the outside there, bounce off a couple of tacklers, and show some great speed. But defensively, Gerald Griffin was there to run him down from toward the sidelines, George. And you know, it's really interesting. I thought maybe in the second half, that's not a marker, by the way. Something else, maybe some tape fell off. It looked like a flag, but isn't.
And after the 43-yard scamper, Germantown knocking at Riverdale's door. A minute and a half into the second half. Patterson keeps. He was a tearaway jersey away from huge yardage.
Right, looked like he was maybe turning it and going into the end zone. Marcus Smith got an arm on him, and like you said, only had some jersey material to keep him from going into the end zone.
Some obvious concern on Gary Rankin's face for the first time tonight. His team's in a little trouble.
Well, you feel a little momentum shift here.
2nd down 3 for Germantown from the Riverdale 10. Gray got nothing. Boy, did he get hammered. He actually fell forward to the 8. That was a Ryan Maloney linebacker sandwich by Riverdale. While we have a moment, we want to remind you that the announcers for this game have been contracted for and approved by the TSSAA and the Nashville Area Junior Chamber of Commerce. Any use, rebroadcast, or other transmission without the written consent of the TSSAA and the NAJCC and Creative Productions is strictly prohibited. Riverdale takes a timeout. It'll be 3rd and a long yard when we return. 9:23 to play, 3rd quarter. Riverdale's lead a little bit shaky.
At Alexander Ford Lincoln Mercury, we have the Yes We Can.
Folks have traveled from Memphis, Tennessee to see Germantown. And at the moment, the Red Devils 3rd and a long yard from the Riverdale 8. A split backfield and 2 receivers to the left. That's Belcher in motion, quarterback sneak. Patterson didn't get it. From the spot, he is a good yard short. And I've got to be honest, that call I'm surprised at, because that's difficult to pick up a long yard on a quarterback sneak.
Well, Ken Netherland knows that getting to the outside against that great Riverdale speed is very difficult. Sort of a little counter sneak right there as they gave the blockers a chance to get in there. A little too much quickness defensively.
Huge play. Germantown goes for it on 4th and about a yard. If you run, my suspicion is you run with Gray. Patterson rolls, looks for help, got his first down. He is really tough to bring down. He kept buying himself time over and over and over, and finally found enough room to get the 1st and goal.
Looked like he may have been stopped there, and just as he turned it up, watch him here as he avoids the last Riverdale tackler, skirts around him there, little juke, and Antron Peebles is the guy he beat, George, to almost take it into the end zone.
Germantown 2 yards away from the lead. 3 wide receivers. The one back is Flynn. Quarterback sneak. Patterson did not get there. Got inside the 1 on what was the 7th play of this drive. 8:25 to play in the 3rd quarter. Germantown is about an eyelash away from taking the lead.
Germantown going with those big front linemen there, and they've got the strength. I think they're going to try to keep it pounding from tackle to tackle and not test the outside speed of Riverdale.
Now it is Flynn and Belcher in the backfield for Germantown. Belcher with 16 touchdowns on the season. Patterson didn't make it on a quarterback sneak. In fact, I don't think he got anything. It will be 3rd and goal when they unpile. And again, Ken Netherland being very conservative in the play call. You've got a Gray with a lot of ability, Belcher with a lot of touchdowns. I got to think you give it to one of those two.
Well, I think you'll see just that here, George. I think probably they'll find they'll look to their best blocker. Don't be surprised if there's not. Looks like they may be going to the right side here.
Good goal line shot there. Patterson rolls. Can he get in? No. To the 1. And he was probably lucky to get that far.
Great job by Terrence Patterson there, as he looked like he may have been stopped at the 5-yard line. A lot of good footwork. He almost got back to the end zone.
Do you think you've seen this before? The answer is yes. Riverdale took the opening kickoff of this game, marched 81 yards, got to a 4th and 1, and didn't get in. Germantown is about to face that same thing. 4th and goal, will return to see if they score. They're down 7-3. Well, Germantown, 4th and goal at the 1. They've gotten more yards on this drive than they were able to get in the entire first half, but if they don't get this crucial yard, it really doesn't mean anything. Gray is the tailback in this set. This is Gray. No! Riverdale says forget it.
Quick pan of the cameras to Ken Netherland there, and he was very somber as he saw a tremendous defensive goal line stand there, and he saw the great Riverdale quickness able to penetrate that big offensive line and turn away the Red Devils here.
The ball at the 1-yard line.
Great job there on defense by Greg Smith, who made the initial hit there and had plenty of help from the backside.
Smith is only 5'8", 180. He looked more like 280 in making that play. Now Riverdale takes over offensively, and they almost botched the handoff. It was the fullback Marcus Smith who wedged it out to about the 3. So now both teams have had goal line stands in this game. We're midway through the 3rd quarter. Murfreesboro Riverdale with a 7-3 lead. George Plaster, Ron Bargatze, Joe Fisher with you from the Clinic Bowl, and now there is a late marker on the play as well.
Let's listen to a very unusual marker as both teams were going back to their huddles to start the next play, and all of a sudden the flag comes out.
Wow. It's against Germantown, and that gets Riverdale out of a huge hole.
Well, Ken Netherland wants to know what happened here. His team, known for their discipline, known for their character, and a play in this situation could be a killer.
Illegal participation, defense.
May have had 12 men on the field there, George, and Ken Netherland checking with his staff to see what happened.
Joe, what did you see down there?
Well, it looked like there were 12 men on the field. The flag came so late, and they had a chance to count them. That's huge because now Riverdale has a little bit of room. They may try something here because they may figure if they can get on the board one more time, they could really do some damage to Germantown. Back a few.
Yeah, they get a first down now at the 16. They run the option. Carney has nothing. He was lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. Germantown defensed it nicely. There were 3 folks who were there, led by 38 Bernie Moore, and it's a gain maybe back to the line of scrimmage.
George, really amazing, both teams and their defensive pursuit. That time you saw some good quickness by Riverdale outside. Germantown was there to turn it back in.
Riverdale had a good first half offensively. They gained over 170 yards, but so far it's been tough in the second half. This is Duke, 20. Duke a first down to the 28-yard line. He explodes when he finds a hole, and there is a reason or two why he had over 1,300 yards this season.
Watch Duke there. Only a small seam, but he's got... Watch him as he approaches the line. He breaks down, gets his balance, finds daylight, rams it up inside for the first.
And as you take a second look at it, if Belcher doesn't make the tackle, Duke may be gone. He now has 10 carries, 46 yards for the night. And Riverdale has a first down. Smith blasts his way from the 28 to the 32. Harris from his right tackle position makes the stop for Germantown.
George, you can't say enough about Mitch Baker and Dean Harris. Great job at the tackle positions there for this Germantown defense. It's easy to understand why they dominated their opponents with their defense all year.
Yeah, we figured this one would go to the fourth quarter still in doubt, and at the moment, that's exactly the way it looks like it's going to happen. This is Duke, his 11th carry, and that gets him to about the 50-yard mark for the night. Give Duke about 4 on that play and set up 3rd and 3 for Riverdale. Gary Rankin down on his sideline. We talked to him earlier this week. He had thought he would have to go 60-40 run pass. It hasn't been anywhere near that.
Well, I don't think he anticipated the early running success he had going against the big defense for Germantown. When it was there, he took it, and then I think his philosophy is take what the defense gives you.
Riverdale tonight 2 of 5 in third down conversions. Duke makes it 3 of 6. Gets to the corner, gets into Germantown territory, stepped out of bounds at the 43. It's a gain of 24.
Duke, who is not the fastest guy on the team, but has great quickness, really turned it to the outside that time and was able to turn it upfield, and that's why he's Mr. Football. Watch him here as he takes it inside and has enough speed right there to elude Trey Belcher, and that's a full night work in itself.
Yeah, Belcher, if he'd been able to make the play, stops it for about an 8-yard gain. A second look at Alvin Duke, who is now at 74 yards for the night on 12 carries. Riverdale a first down at the Germantown 43. 7-3 Riverdale late third quarter. Carney again to Duke. And this time he slides inside the 40, and they'll give him the 39 on the play.
George, it's amazing to me to watch these two programs, Riverdale, Gary Rankin, in his 5th year there. What a fantastic job he's done turning that program around. And Ken Netherland, who's been at Germantown for 20 years now, great, solid programs. They demand a lot from their players. They put up with no garbage on the outside, and they really know how to get it done.
This is Smith, who drives it down to the 37. This drive reminiscent of some things that Riverdale did in the first half, and that is not only eat up clock, but keep Germantown's defense on the field. You wonder how much longer Germantown can keep that defense on the field and not give up a lot of points.
Right, and very interesting here. I think Gary Rankin feels like he may be in 4-down territory with that great defense, but 3rd and 4, a little different situation than they've been facing most of the night.
Yeah, with that in mind, they throw here, I think we'd all be shocked. My guess is it's Alvin Duke. There is Duke, and there is not a first down. Great defense on the corner, led by 89. Corey Peterson came up from his right corner. That is textbook defensive back play.
Right, and with the great speed of Riverdale, how the guys got there, great preparation, good job defensively.
Now watch Peterson come up here. Boom. Nothing. Riverdale takes a timeout. When we come back, they'll be facing a 4th and 2, and they lead it 7-3.
Are your bills piling up? Has your money disappeared?
From Vanderbilt Stadium as we are deep in the 3rd quarter of this 5A title game, and what a big play this is for Riverdale. It's 4th and a short 3 from Germantown's 36. Riverdale tonight 1 of 2 in 4th down conversions. They run the option, it's fumbled, and it's Germantown's football. It really didn't matter either way. Germantown has again held, and Joe Fisher down on the sidelines. You see Germantown's enthusiasm. What a huge play that is.
George, you have to think if this game stays close, Germantown may have the edge. Riverdale has beaten so many teams so badly this year. They haven't had a lot of close games where they had to play it down to the wire. Coach Rankin thought maybe the Oak Ridge game last week might be a help because they only won 21-7. But if this is close down to the wire, Germantown may have a mental edge, if nothing else. Back up to you.
Okay, Joe, thank you. We'll talk about that a little bit more here in just a second as Patterson runs the option, late pitch to Gray, and Gray, with that good foot speed and strength, battles for a first down to midfield. Now, Ron, what Joe was talking about, in the playoffs alone, Riverdale has outscored the opposition, this is hard to believe, 138-7 in 4 playoff games. Gray with 67 yards on 9 carries following that 14-yard sprint. This is Belcher in motion. Floyd, the big fullback, rumbles to the 46 before Marcus Smith brings him down. I've got to think at this point that Germantown, they've dodged about 3 different bullets, and Ron, I've got to think they think they're going to win. Well, mentally, they've got to get the ball in the end zone, and how they come back and what they do in the red zone, if they can take the ball that far, is something else, George. And let's look back at the big play when it was 4th and a short 3. Trace McIntyre came across, made the great play, not only making the stop, but stripping the ball away from Courtney. This is 2nd and 6 for Germantown. This is Gray. Can he get to the corner? Not really. May have gotten a couple of yards, and a very late flag thrown in the direction of the Riverdale bench. And I'm wondering if somebody said something over there. Well, you never know. Maybe the wind took the flag. It's hard to tell. It flew in the same direction the wind was blowing. Whether or not it was on the bench or whether it was maybe a face mask, they're talking to Germantown here, to Eric Baker. Let's see what happens. Mitch Baker, excuse me. Wow, a hold against Germantown. Either the wind took that thing or we've got a discus thrower for one of the officials. Wow. Well, I think the official just threw the ball up in the air, threw the flag up high, and the weight that they have on that flag wasn't enough to stop this 20-mile-an-hour wind, and just took it right across the Riverdale bench. So the hold is going to bring back about a 2-yard gain. It should be about 2nd and 15. Well, Mitch Baker was talking to the official there. He may have been the culprit. We don't know, but he was certainly getting an explanation, and the senior out there trying to find out what was going on. 3rd penalty of the night against Germantown for 40 yards. They have not thrown the ball very much. They may not have any choice. It's 2nd down and 14 with 20 seconds to play. 3rd quarter, Riverdale 7, Germantown 3. Patterson will throw. That's complete. And that is Peterson to the 25. Corey Peterson got a step on the secondary and got 29 yards. What a terrific execution there by Terrence Patterson. He faked the running play inside, a little play action, put the ball right on the money here. Good job as he fakes inside. That's a tough pass over the big defensive lineman, and the Patterson to Peterson connection comes up big. And you wanted to say that all night long as we end the 3rd quarter of play. Germantown's got some momentum on their side They trail by 4, and we'll return to the Clinic Bowl right after this.
The awards, the honors, the accolades for the Toyota Camry continue to rise.
Has completed one pass tonight. Ronnie, it was the final play of the third quarter, and it was a huge one.
Nice fake there to Flynn as he took inside, and then Peterson. Nice little route. Ball was on the money, and George, we have got a ball game here, and coming off that 7-6 Cleveland win over Haywood County in the 4A game, this one looks like it's going to be the same way.
Germantown has dodged every bullet imaginable to get in this position. First down from the Riverdale 25. A touchdown here would give the Red Devils the lead. Patterson, Gray to the corner. And Gray very close to a first down. I'm going to guess he's a half-yard short. Gray showed some more upper body strength to get those extra 4 or 5.
Well, that was a fantastic. Alvin Duke defensively there. George had a blocker who got into his body there, and he was able to get away and make the play. Great call on first down by Ken Netherland's staff to pick up 9 yards.
Gray now with almost 80 yards rushing on the night. 11 carries, as you see, 79 yards. Here's an opportunity if Germantown wants it where they could throw. They're second in inches. And then if they didn't make it, they could come back and get the first down on the ground. They choose instead to go Gray to the corner. First down at the 11. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 11. And now down on the sidelines right in front of that play is Joe Fisher.
George, you may have seen when the fourth quarter began, all the Germantown players, cheerleaders, and coaches with one finger in the air. That to them signifies the fourth quarter, which they think belongs to them. And you saw Mark Gray with that run. Usually at the Clinic Bowl, the field is ringed with college coaches. Well, as cold as it is, they're all upstairs with you. Phil Fulmer and many others are here for tonight's game. Back up to you.
Joe, thank you. This is one of those cases where we were pretty smart to do what we did, and that is elect to stay in a pretty warm press box. First down from the 11. Patterson fakes, fires, drop in the end zone, and there is a marker down.
It's hard to tell who the penalty's on, but Alvin Duke there, great job. He didn't have position, but his timing was excellent. He came over the top, hit the ball before he hit the receiver, and made a nice defensive play, but the penalty is going to change the looks of what goes on here.
Will Moore almost had his 19th catch of the year for Germantown. It wouldn't have mattered. It would have come back. This will be a 5-yard penalty against the Red Devils, and it'll put the football back at the 16. We have 11:04 to play in the game. Riverdale leads Germantown 7-3. And Joe, I don't know if you can pick up on the sidelines what may be going on Germantown's bench. Were you surprised first down throw there?
No, I think they needed to do something like that because they have been getting such poor yardage on first down. They needed to try to get themselves into a position to do something else. And if the throw was a little bit quicker to the left side, it's a touchdown. The throw just floated a little bit there. Not a bad idea to try to change things up a little bit, especially now that they are with the wind. It will be easier to throw for Germantown in the fourth quarter.
Joe brought up a good point there, that with the wind could be huge. This game might come down to a field goal late. But before anything else happens, Riverdale takes a timeout. 11:04 to play in this ball game, the 5A title game. Riverdale leads by 4.
The Maglite flashlight, the world's finest, crafted from solid aircraft aluminum, sealed at each end with high...
Oh, that graphic right there could come back to haunt Riverdale. They just took their final timeout of the game with still more than 11 minutes to play. Germantown has 1st and 15 from just outside the 16. Gray, can he get to the corner? No. Got only a couple, maybe 3, before Fernando Bryant came up to greet him. And so now Germantown has 2nd and about 12, maybe 13.
A pair of fast number 25s there. isolated on the outside. Good job, good tackle by Bryant, but you got to think at this point with 2nd and 11 in an area where there's not a lot of room, George, that the speed of Riverdale being very important. I believe you can see Ken Netherland maybe open things up, get a little wide here, maybe look to throw.
Germantown, when they have thrown, they look like the Vikings. They like to throw a lot of slant patterns, what we've seen so far tonight. There is a slant, there's a touchdown, and there's a flag as well. Peterson made the catch for the touchdown, which is his 5th of the year, but let's wait on the marker.
Well, I think the Germantown staff has seen that slant pattern is open. The defender's been behind all night. The pass was a little lower and in front that time, and the defensive pass interference penalty is going to be rejected, and it's going to be a touchdown, and we are going to have a barn burner down the stretch.
And it was a slant.
It was a slant.
Peterson from 13 yards, Germantown's first lead of the night, and all those folks from the Memphis area who have traveled to Nashville are all of a sudden very happy.
Well, they faked the pitch that time to Gray, and as we saw on the replay there, Gray did a good job of acting it out there and helped open up the pattern.
Canday makes it 10-7 Germantown. 10-14 to play in this 5A title game, and if Riverdale's going to win it, they're going to have to rally.
Camry was a success story from the start. Acclaimed best car built in America, its reputation for quality craftsmanship made Camry the gold standard. It ranked among the top 10 in initial quality 6 years in a row. And Camry is building a plant in Georgetown, Kentucky, the recipient of the Gold Plant Quality Award. And now the newly styled and refined 1995 Toyota Camry continues to write the book.
But Mr. Crook, what about that security blanket?
And those guys with their total satisfaction guarantee.
As president of Robert J. Young, I don't care what the others are doing. We'll make it right.
From Robert J. Young, We'll Make It Right, featuring the 7 line of copiers and facts. It's the truth.
Well, Germantown's defense held Riverdale on one of those 4th down plays. Then their offense took over, went 64 yards and 8 plays, and the 12-yard touchdown to Peterson has given Germantown a 10-7 lead with 10:14 to play. Duke has it skip over him into the end zone for the touchback. Joe, you made the point earlier down on the sideline that Riverdale hasn't been in many positions this year where they've had much pressure. Now they've got one of those situations.
George, unbeaten 14-0. Riverdale has trailed in a game 11 seconds this year. That's the only time they have been behind. This is new ground, and one thing you can bet on, Alvin Duke is going to get the football a lot in this drive. Back up to you.
Thank you, Joe. Ronald Reagan was president the last time Riverdale trailed in a ball game, and just like Joe said, there's Alvin Duke. 5, 10, first down at the 31. Looked pretty easy, didn't it?
A good job bouncing to the outside there, and this last 10 minutes is going to be something else to behold. The fans on both sides biting their nails. And George, last year when Riverdale got beat against Lincoln County, they went back and dedicated the next 365 days to getting back here, just like Germantown, particularly with the emergence of Terrence Patterson at quarterback, has been driving hard to be here. It's going to be a great finish.
Duke, 15 carries, 87 yards on the night. That's Smith. And he booms to the 35. He gets about 4 on first down. Riverdale led 7-0. They've rushed the football 41 of their 43 plays offensively tonight. And Ronnie, this is kind of a gut check time for them because, as Joe mentioned earlier, they just haven't been in this situation very often.
Right, and they've had a lot of success on the ground tonight. They haven't had to go to the air, but clock is not a factor, but you may see them open it up if they get in any second or third and long situation.
Alvin Duke dives out to the 40-yard line. He's less than a yard away from his first down. And with 9:20 to play, Zimmerman, the strong safety, came up for Germantown to make the tackle. It is 10-7. Germantown has just taken the lead with 9:10 to play in the ball game.
Well, with 9:09 to go, George, you got to feel like the statistic that came up earlier of Riverdale having no timeouts left could play into the formula as the clock ticks down.
Yeah, they had to take their third and final timeout a few moments ago on defense. My guess here is it's Duke to try and get the first down. Smith, boy, I don't know. If he got it by about the nose of the football at best, and if he didn't get it, Gary Rankin's got a real decision here.
Well, it's hard to say. We saw the spot, the foot go down there. I think he's going to be within inches of either making it or not. It's going to be really close, and then Gary Rankin does have a tough call to make if he's barely short.
Joe, you're down there. You want to guess?
How about if I copped out and said I really don't have a really good angle to look at it from the 25, George? I think he's short.
And he is by about the nose of the football. Joe, if it wasn't so cold down there, I would really nail you for that. Joe Fisher has been the absolute warrior of warriors tonight to stay down there. It's about 30 degrees. And looky here, yet another fourth down situation. There have been now 6 of those tonight. Quarterback sneak. Carney got it by about a yard and a half. Carney gets the first down and keeps the drive moving for Riverdale.
George, I've got to take this opportunity to thank Channel 2 here in Nashville for getting involved, Mickey Martin and the staff there, and having a guy like Joe Fisher on the sidelines with his expertise and his ability to know what goes on and his knowledge of local sports scene has been a real plus for this telecast.
And also to the folks in Memphis who are watching tonight, and also across the Southeast on Sports South. Carney, this time Alvin Duke to the corner, midfield, and now it's a foot race. Duke may be gone. Alvin Duke, 58 yards.
George, let's look for the flags. Let's look for the officials on the sidelines. We see neither. Was that some kind of run?
That is a big league play by a big league running back.
That was 58.
Watch Duke here as he turns it up. Looks like he's going out of bounds on the sideline there. He gets hit once, twice, stumbles, keeps his footing there. 3 times he gets hit. Great cut back there. That's 4 and 5 people who's had their hands on him. Oh, it's all over there.
And back to live action. The extra point was blocked, but still had enough to get over. Riverdale, a 58-yard run by Alvin Duke. They lead it 14-10.
At Alexander Ford Lincoln Mercury, we have the yes we can attitude. If it's low prices you're looking for, then yes we can with this 94 Escort, priced at only $99.88. If it's low payments you're looking for, then yes we can with this 94 Ranger, priced at only $159 a month. So now's the time to come visit your hometown dealer at Alexander Ford Lincoln Mercury, where there's no better price.
Building a future one customer at a time. Alexander Ford Lincoln Mercury.
What is Toots? Toots is fun. Toots is food.
This run put Alvin Duke over 150 yards for the night. And Ronnie, as you counted him earlier, there were about 5 missed tackles, and he basically willed himself into the end zone.
That was a great individual effort. Of course, he got some good blocks early on, but he really made it happen by himself those last 45, 50 yards.
That was the final missed tackle that gets Alvin Duke the 58 yards, his second touchdown of the night, and Riverdale within 7.5 minutes of the 5A state title. Touchdown number 39 of the year for Duke. High, short. Belcher comes up and fields it and gets tackled at the 26-yard line. What you saw right there was a lot of respect for Gray.
No question about it. Riverdale had the wind in their face. They knew if Gray got his hands on it, he's been going 35 to 50 yards on those returns. Smart play and good job of playing position on the kickoff, on covering the kickoff by the Riverdale Warriors.
Joe, you saw the run from down there. It was really a thing of beauty.
It sure was. And Alvin Duke is a guy that wants his hands on the ball in this situation. Germantown has a guy like that in Mark Gray, but you have to wonder if the Red Devils might not try to throw the ball. They've had success doing that in this quarter.
This time they keep it on the ground, and Gray stumbles and gets very good yardage out to the 33. Riverdale trailed for about 2.5 minutes in this game, and it was really the first time all year for any significant amount of time that they were down. But then Alvin Duke took over from 58 yards out, and now Germantown, do they have enough to answer?
Well, that was a big first down play, getting a short 7 yards on first down. He's got to give them a little confidence. I think, George, they'll keep it on the ground as long as they have success, because if they do score, the clock is in their favor.
That time, Gray got only to the 35. Got a yard and a half. Antron Peebles made him pay for that last yard. And Germantown has 3rd and 2 with 6:20 to play in this 5A title game. And as you see, Riverdale leads it now 14-10. And I'm going to guess Gray again.
Could be 3rd and 2. I think you may see something a little wide on there, maybe to the short side of the field.
Nice call. And Gray picks up the first down because of it. Out to the 38. A lot of folks who are not big football fans who say, why do you go to the short side when you've got all that room the other way?
Well, a lot of defenses will line up and make their alignment to the wide side of the field. They've got more room to cover. It makes sense. But when you come back to that weak side, it makes it kind of tough. You got the numbers game. When you got a guy like Gray running the football, it makes it pretty difficult to pull down.
It has become a 2 running back battle, and we thought it might be. Duke and Gray have kind of taken over. Gray stuffed at the line of scrimmage. You could hear it all the way up here. It was Antron Peebles. Yes, you have heard his name more than once tonight. He came into the game with 130 tackles, which was more than double any other Riverdale player.
Well, Jeff Lee, Peebles is great. Jeff Lee that time really stood the blocker up and got in the way. Peebles finished him off, and that's been the Riverdale success there. Lots of good help on the outside and then those down linemen and some great finishers in the linebackers.
Clock now a real factor as we go under 5 minutes. 2nd down and 9 for Germantown from its own 40. Patterson, very late pitch to Gray, and they were lucky to get anything. In fact, they were lucky not to fumble the football.
Right, Gray did a great job there of catching that ball. It was a tough, hard pitch from short range and shows the kind of hands he has and kind of concentration he has in this situation.
The clock stops at 4:43, and there may be an injured player in front of Germantown's bench. Boy, that was a very late pitch.
And a little bit to the little bit behind there, and shows that Riverdale speed and pursuit.
Now Germantown has 3rd and a very long 6. Are they in 4-down territory?
I think given the situation, George, I think that there's no question they'll probably, although they have the wind to their back, I think that they will go 4 here. But you can look for Peterson here. Watch for Peterson. He's been open almost all night, running your slant pattern.
Antron Peebles, by the way, just left the game for Riverdale, and that's a break for Germantown. 4 wide receivers. They spread out the field. Patterson throws. Belcher couldn't go up that high. He would have had to have been more like 6'8", 6'9", rather than 6'2".
Right, a little different pattern than we've seen tonight. That's the first time we've seen the Germantown throw that way.
Now with 4:38 left, on one hand, the thought would be kick the football, pin them back, play good defense. I don't know that Ken Netherland has that luxury here.
I think Germantown feels like they're down to one play here to win the Clinic Bowl and the 5A championship. I think they're going with their best number here, and I'm going to be looking for Peterson again.
This may be your play of the game. 4 wide receivers on 4th and 7.
He's isolated on Duke. Lots of green there.
Patterson slant. Gray catches. Germantown is alive. Thank you very much. A gain of 18. And Gray, not only a great running back, he showed a good pair of hands right there.
Right, and Patterson put it right on the money. I think maybe Riverdale was thinking a little bit toward Peterson there. Nice little pattern there by Gray, and as you said, George, we are going to have a shootout here down the stretch.
4th and 8, and Germantown lives to tell about it. Clock running, 4:15 to play on what could be the final drive of the season. Gray to the corner. Gray to the 35, and I have no idea how he got that far. He looked like he split about 4 defenders.
Right, Riverdale strung it out, and he did a great job cutting back, and only the pursuing Peebles was able to pull him down.
Peebles on the stop, but Gray got 5. It'll be 2nd and 5 with 3:50 to play. Ken Netherland, his teams have been here many times in the past. And as for Riverdale, Coach Gary Rankin and his team trying to win it after losing in the finals a year ago. A couple of stats I want to throw out real quickly. Willie Donick with our statistics tonight. John Morgan, our spotter par excellence. Couple of things. Gray on the night, 19 carries, 108 yards, and that fine linebacker Peebles has 8 tackles on the night.
Well, this has been everything you would expect from a 5A championship football game. 2 great programs, 2 very well-coached football teams. Execution has been there, George, and the 2 goal line stands just put the icing on the cake here. We've seen it all in this football game.
By the way, an estimated attendance of over 250,000 people will have watched the TSSAA High School Football Playoff Series this year. 5 weeks ago, 160 teams started the march to the High School Football Playoff Championship, where these final 10 teams have gathered here in the Clinic Bowl. This weekend's attendance for high school football in the state of Tennessee exceeded 50,000 once the final count came in, and given the kind of weather these folks have had to endure, that is really something to celebrate. Germantown with 218 yards of total offense. About 80% of that has come in the second half. 2nd and 5 from the 35 as we resume play. Patterson throws. It's intercepted. Riverdale has the football. And Riverdale has it at the 31-yard line. The interception by Corey Carney, the quarterback, turned interceptor. And Joe, that might do it for Riverdale.
That was a very opportune play. I'm not sure where Patterson was throwing that ball. His arm may have been tipped as he released it, but quarterback Corey Carney turned defensive back there, made a great play, and the Riverdale fans are ecstatic on the far side.
And now Riverdale's goal is very obvious. They want to crank out 1, maybe 2 first downs. If they do it, they're your 5A winner. Carney to his fullback Smith. And Smith moved the pile by himself for about 4 extra. He got 9 on first down. Joe Fisher down on the sidelines. That had to be a really demoralizing play for Germantown.
You know, George, you have to wonder if the timeout may not have benefited Riverdale more than Germantown. Obviously, the team driving against them, and Riverdale with no timeouts to talk about defense. Once the timeout was called, they had a chance to make adjustments, think pass, and obviously came up with some good results.
2:35 and counting. Riverdale second and about 1.5 yards. Smith gets the first down, and now this becomes the series that Germantown absolutely has to have a stop. They cannot allow any more first downs and have a chance to win.
Well, with only one timeout, you're exactly right, George, and a great job by Joe Fisher on the sidelines making that call. I thought that during that timeout, Riverdale was able to regroup themselves, bring in another back, and do a good job defending the pass there.
Clock running, it's down to 2:15 to play. This becomes the 3 sets of downs that will decide this winner. Riverdale makes a first down here, it's over. And they go to Smith, and he gets that first down. And with 1:59 to play, Riverdale is about to open that door they couldn't open a year ago.
Well, the ground game in this situation has really demoralized the Germantown defense. And unless there's some sort of a freak play, of a fumble of some type, it looks like the Warriors are going to take that 365 days, put it to its best use, and come out with a championship.
1:45 to play. Germantown with 1 timeout remaining. Smith has been the workhorse on this drive. Now it's Duke. And he gets to the 37. Germantown still with 1 timeout left, and they have not elected to use it.
Well, they're going for the football, and you can see the running backs for Riverdale wrapping it up with 2 arms, making sure that nothing happens, and knowing that the clock is their friend now.
I mentioned earlier, Alvin Duke is up to about 160 yards for the night. Well, his fullback buddy, Marcus Smith, 16 carries, 83 yards. A very good 1-2. As you see, we go to 1 minute remaining. Second down 5 for Riverdale. Smith within 1 yard. And now Germantown's got to step in and take that final timeout. And so far, they haven't. Yeah, they do.
Just did, and like you said, they had to. Now they've got a chance to stop them on 3rd down, force the 4th, but we all know that Riverdale has 2 more cracks at it, barring the fumble.
Ron, when you and I visited with Gary Rankin earlier this week, I asked him about the pressure this season, that there were a lot of folks who said it's fine to get there, but when you come back the next season, if you don't win the whole thing, people don't consider it a total success. And he said because of that, there really has been a lot of pressure on his team.
Well, there's no question. When you perform like they have, and I think you're 56-10 in 5 years, people start putting some very high expectations on you, and that's exactly what's happened in this Riverdale program.
Now here's the play that can get it done for Riverdale. If they can get the necessary yardage for the first down, it's over.
You can bet there won't be many handoffs here. Maybe not any, with no timeouts left for the Germantown Red Devils.
Somebody moved up front. Now the question is, where was the movement? Who precipitated it? If it is against Germantown, this game is over. If it's on Riverdale, still a little bit of life for the Red Devils. At the very top, it appeared David Coppeans looked like the man who moved offensively.
Officials conferring on it. We'll find out right now.
And that is the call. It's going to be now 3rd and 7 for Riverdale. And I really don't think it's going to change their play call.
No, I think they'll hand off. I think you may see a straight handoff, no pitches, no counter plays here, just a straight handoff. Try to ram it in there because they know the clock with 47 seconds to go. No timeouts for Germantown. The odds are still in their favor.
The best Germantown should be able to do is get the football back if they hold here. I'm guessing with 15 seconds, no more than that. 3rd and 7 from the 40. Carney keeps and goes down at the 37.
I think that you'll see Riverdale run the ball again. Very unlikely that they would punt for several reasons. Bad snap, mishandled snap, bad kick, block kick. Too many bad things can happen here. Riverdale will keep it on the ground. 24 seconds to go. They're going to probably not snap the ball before about 6-7 seconds, and I think probably before the possession can change. The worst thing that can happen for Riverdale here probably is one desperation pass or desperation play for Germantown.
The question is, and we don't have a clock to know when the official put it in play, it looks like the clock stopped with 3 seconds left. So Riverdale takes the delay of game. If I am Gary Rankin, I basically have a quarterback or whoever run those 3 seconds off and get out of here.
Well, I think you're going to see Carney take the snap from center and basically run maybe 5-6 yards away from the defense and toward his own goal line, fall to his feet, and start the celebration.
Carney had the interception a few minutes ago that saved the game for Riverdale. What you may see here might be the happiest run of this young man's life. This is a play he'll never forget. Carney looks at that scoreboard, and he had to love that tackle. Riverdale is your 5A champion. A marvelous football game. There's a lot of dejection, as you can see on that Germantown sideline. I don't blame them for that feeling, but they played a heck of a football game, even in losing.
George, no one lost this game. Riverdale won it by the skin of their teeth. Ken Netherland's team and their program is one of the best in the state. They're in the top 3 every year in and year out. They have nothing to be ashamed of. They really represented their school and the area of Memphis very well, and Riverdale came back 2 years in a row, won a championship, and it's got to feel awfully good for the Riverdale Warriors.
Riverdale is the 5A champion. We congratulate them. A 14-10 victory against Germantown. Will return to Vanderbilt Stadium in a moment.
It is a world of total confidence.
Celebration has begun in Murfreesboro, and Joe Fisher is down on the field with one of the guys celebrating, running back Alvin Duke.
Alvin's standing here trying not to celebrate too hard. Congratulations. How worried were you guys?
We knew we had confidence in our defense. That's the only thing we had to do, and the coaches got to pick the right plays in the offense, and we came through with it.
Talk about that run.
The run, I had some good blocks on the outside, sprayed him to the open field, and I just took it from there.
Congratulations. Feels good, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Alvin Duke, and he's going to walk away from here. He may have something to do here in a minute, guys.
Joe, marvelous job tonight under really nasty conditions. Thanks for staying down there.
No, they're going to get the trouble.
Ron, this was everything we thought it would be and more. Both teams had their chances. You had 4th down conversions, 4th down, big plays, goal line stands. You had it all.
George, we watched tape this week, and we talked to coaches this week and talked to opposing coaches this week. We expected this one to go right down to the wire. We couldn't call a favorite in this game. If they played again, we'd have to start back from scratch and feel the same way. A great performance by both teams, a fantastic game.
Riverdale wins it tonight, 14-10. My thanks not only to Ron Bargatze and Joe Fisher, but to our crew, the TSSAA and the Junior Chamber of Commerce in Nashville. The final tonight, Riverdale wins it in 5A by the score of 14-10. This is George Plaster, and good night from Vanderbilt Stadium.
The Clinic Bowl.